Most people that are snowflakes don't even know why they're called snowflakes. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna say why. Because they melt under pressure.
Vagisil medicated.
This is your vagina cream, because you're all vaginas. You're cunts. And when I say cunts, I mean you're cowards. Shit happens. And as I was teasing you last night, I'm hoping you're bright enough to understand I was teasing you, that when you say you got no regrets, that's all horseshit. And it's just like you've got plans and we don't fail to plan, we plan to fail. And you've heard all that shit, right? And most of you in this room have read at least 3 to 100 times more stuff on personal development than I've read. We've had dipshits in they come to this seminar that have read 700 books. Two kids, both 19, 700 books. Now I say sarcastically, I didn't know there was 700 fucking books written about the shit, but I know there's probably 7 million books written on it. And if you asked either one of the kids, one was a physics major at university and one was just a dipshit, weed smoking, fucking pothead, earring, fucking nose, asshole, cunt. And did they learn anything from those 700 books? And they said, other than we learned how to flip pages. And this is, they didn't read them in a Kindle like, Walter would read them in a Kindle or some shit, But virtually everything, 99.999% of everything you've ever learned, you got a shit can. And I had an old sales manager named Kelly Norwood, who was a defrocked. Everybody understand what defrocked? Disbarred, thrown out of the profession of law. He was a lawyer from Bolt Hall, Berkeley, and he got stripped of his law degree for being a thief, crook, I call him rapist, murderer. He wasn't that, but that makes the story sound better now because he's been dead 30, 40 years. Rapist, murderer from Colombia, also a doctor like you, Doc. Anyway, and he told me, he said, Pena, a young boy like you ought to be able to sell every motherfucker that comes through the door. He set his expectations, my expectations, of selling everybody that came through the door. Hence, I sold 94.6% of every fucking person that I came up against in real estate. And for those of you that sell know, the 94.6 is a very, it's insurmountable. You can't even imagine anybody that could close them well. But he set my expectations. But the thing that he taught me, in addition to that, he says, you got to Boraxo their brain, Pena. Now, back in the 50s, there was a soap called Boraxo. Former President Ronald Reagan was the salesperson, and it was the soap that you, if you worked in a garage and you wanted grease out of your hands, it took the hide off of you. He said, you got to fucking Boraxo their brains. In today's parlance, in today's language, you've got to clean your database. You got to scrub it. Every single thing. And if love got the job done, you wouldn't be here, sweetheart. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here, because love doesn't get the job done. Some of you were told, you can be anything you want when you grow up. How many were told that growing up as a kid? You can be anything you want. They fucking lied to you. You can't. That's a load of shite. You can't be anything. Now, in this country, if you went to Eton and you went to Cambridge and you were the 4th Earl of Shitbag of Gloucestershire, you can be anything you want in this country. And I can have analogous examples of other parts of the world. If you are Putin's younger brother's son, you can be anything you want to be in Russia. And I can go on and on. But unless you empty your teacup, I can't fill it. There's a thing called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is you've got a lot of data, most of which is crap, but you've got a lot of data you've put in. And your default is going back to that data. Your default is 2 and 2 is 4, and not, for some of you that are more educated, E equals MC squared is your default. And I told you last night, the more educated you are, the harder it is. Because some of the things that we will do for the next 6 days and for the 12 months ongoing, I don't want to say you have to accept on faith, because back 25 years ago, and this is the celebratory seminar of the 25th anniversary, they were taking it on faith that I did it, and they had trouble verifying what I did because they didn't have Google. And then I told people it was easy, because if I told them it was hard, nobody'd do it, right? But now we've got all kinds of shitbags that have done it. Countless. And we've gone back and we've put the numbers together. For example, in the last 10 years, we touch about 20,000 people a month new with QLA. 20,000. Actually, about almost 22,000. We'll call it 20,000. It's good enough for government work. And we know just how many people have created wealth. Now, money's not everything. It's the only thing anybody keeps track of, but it's not everything. But for those of you who want to save the world, go find a product, an idea that will change 1 billion lives. And by definition, 1, you'll save the world, and 2, you'll be a billionaire. Because you see Gates and Buffett and a number of the luminaries that have made a lot of money in current day. They've made a lot of money. Now they're trying to save the world. Bill Gates wasn't running around with a placard, as they say in this country, around the embassy about save the rainforest when he was 17, 18, 20 years old. And we have some save the world guys in the audience. And we have Save the World guys in every audience. Now, not just because I pity them, because I do. I pity their parents and their parents. Because you didn't just get here by accident, guys. And I say guys even though there's gals. But I've said guys for 23 years, and so I'm still not, my default is guy, not gal. And I call you all kids again because I'm either old enough to be your father or grandfather. But your default is all wrong if you want to create generational wealth. We show you in 3 to 5 years how to create money that would take you 20 to 25 years, depending on what definition you use for generation. And when you get out and you see how intellectually simple it is, you'll underestimate how wrong it can be. And because we have 2 bank accounts in life. We have an emotional bank account, we have a financial bank account, and the financial bank account is the one that you've learned to deal with through your life. You have enough money to pay your bills, send your kids to school, yada, yada, yada. Okay? It's your emotional bank account is how, and the reason the name snowflake, like most people that are snowflakes don't even know why they're called snowflakes. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna say why. Because they melt under pressure. Because nobody's ever taught you. For those of you that have been in the military and those of you that have been in combat, you have a better appreciation what pressure is. But there's a very small fraction that comes to the seminar that has that experience. So you've been taught, and your default is to melt. I taught at one of the prestigious universities, I spoke at one of the prestigious universities in Poland a few months ago, and the 3rd floor of the science building was a safe floor. I asked my minders, what does that mean? It means safe. Like safe mean what? No bad shit can happen to you on this floor. So if you want to chill out, you come to the 3rd floor of the physics building. Are you fucking shitting me? A whole floor? A whole floor. Some of you chuckle. But almost everybody in this room is a snowflake. What are the stats now we're running? 95% since we started the snowflake tests in last quarter of last year, 95% of all the people that have taken the test are snowflakes. And my followers are tougher than some of the other guys. So if 95% of my guys and gals are snowflakes, Allah only knows, God, Buddha, I don't know who the hell. But even snowflakes, and some of them, they're not snowflakes anymore, but when they came to me, they are. But there's maybe still 1 or 2 snowflakes up on the Hall of Fame. Still. They came up with an idea that could help 1 billion people in a snowflakey way, and they still have been able to make progress. Now, it is my 25th anniversary, and every day, not every day, but almost every day, we'll do something a little different. And this is not the first time that we've had 3 people late. 1 person had to leave because of illness. That happens. And when you get out there, and when I tell you, and we give you strict steps to follow, and you're in your first weekly report, you're gonna email me, but whenever I see but in your weekly report, not B-U-T-T like Walter is. No, I mean B-U-T, but Dan. I just put a line through it and say next, no comment, quit. Because now for those of you that have a few shekels, a little bit of money, the system is easier. But we're teaching you how to do it with no money, name money. But if you have money, it's easier. Because, and when I explain to you the system and the motivated seller, the sellers don't have to be as motivated because you can make up the difference. But that's not how we're gonna teach you. We're gonna teach you like if you had nothing, started from scratch, like I did. I had $800, but that's close enough to scratch for government work. Okay, last night you saw the bicycle, okay? You saw Dan Lope, and you saw, okay. Let's start with the bicycle. What are the takeaways? Oh, passing your homework. What are the takeaways? And just to say, we're not going to go around and say, my name's John and I'm 23 years old and I'm from Poughkeepsie. Because when everybody's here late this afternoon, we're going to go around and say, my name's John, I'm 23 years old and I'm from Poughkeepsie. And when everybody's here. Thank you. Okay, what was the takeaway on the bike? And it's a bicycle that is basically backwards, right? And what's the takeaway? Yeah, Walter.
Persistence is key. Some daily routines, reverse engineering.
What else? Yeah.
It was easier for the child to...
Stop. For those of you that still have a child mentality, it'll be easier QLA. For those of you, for those of you that are more educated, it'll be hard, not impossible. Some people say that I developed QLA because I'm basically a kid at heart and always have been, a fuck up. And that's what I was called, Pena, the wetback fuck up. Now see, that should have hurt my feelings because I was really sensitive when I was a little boy. Pena, you're the sorriest excuse in this man's army. And when I became an officer, you're the sorriest excuse for a fucking officer in this man's army. When I played football, American football, you're so slow, Pena, why don't you wear the other team's jersey? And I go on and on and on. They used to stand me in the corner with a dunce cap. And if I turned around then, they put me in the closet all day. I used to have to piss and shit my pants. Now just imagine if you went through that, other than to be on CNN now, right? And your little weenie mother would be crying tears. Oh, look at my little Johnny. It's easier for kids. What else about the bicycle? Yes, sir.
I think it's amazing that the workers there had the freedom to do what they did, to actually create that bicycle. The simple welders that they came up with that and brought it to the floor so that they could actually start using that bike, which is something which I took and I said, how do I let my workers have that freedom to come up with things which are the total opposite, go in opposite directions and present it with that self-security that they could do it and, be totally cool.
Okay, anything else about the bike? Yes, ma'am.
Practice.
Okay, one of the steps. Practice, and then practice, and then practice. 17 times before you get it right. 17 times before you get it right, pendejo. 17 fucking times. And some of you are gonna try to do it the first time out, and you're gonna fail. The second, third, fourth time out, and you're gonna fail. And why did Dan say 17 times so many fucking times? And I will say it 17 times during the seminar. And that's why I say go to Toastmasters, go to improv. The people with the best communication skills do best at this. And most of your communication skills suck. Most of the dipshit retards, I don't mean retarded in that sense, retards watching this on YouTube have no communication skills. At one time I had piss poor communication skills. They used to throw plates at me when I go to a Rotary Club to give a speech. Can you imagine? They threw fucking plates at me. Your feelings would be hurt. Okay, we're gonna skip past the last one you saw yesterday. And anybody else want to talk about the bike? Yes, sir.
Take months to learn a new skill and hours to go back into default.
Maybe Walter did learn something. Maybe. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Maybe. Okay, the third one you saw, which was?
Founder.
Okay, the founder. In a word, what was Ray Kroc?
Ruthless.
An asshole! Ray Kroc, the Golden Arches, one of the biggest fucking pricks that ever was created on earth. There's a message here because we're going to talk about 8 or 9 guys that are founders. We showed you the nicest one first, and I have a lot of respect for Mr. Kroc. I never had the pleasure of meeting him. I met his wife once. I met the 2 McDonald brothers once, and when they said just a handshake, next time somebody wants to do a handshake deal, the last handshake deal I did was in Israel with the Israeli National Oil Company. Cost me $60 million. And I didn't even know I was Jewish then. Wouldn't have made me feel any better. What else about the founder? Yes, sir.
Business is like war. Businesses.
It is war. And that's why we have a war action plan that you're going to put together. Not a wussy. Take one and pass it around. You should put this on tape it to the top of your screen. What does it say on there?
Vagisil medication.
This is your vagina cream, because you're all vaginas. You're cunts. And when I say cunts, I mean you're cowards. Goodbye, YouTube.